Welcome to the Operation Game Night podcast. We're back and better than ever. Joining me, as always, the Elliot of the podcast, Clayton Gable. How you doing, Clay?
I'm doing awesome. Is that a reference to something I should know about that's relevant to this particular game?
Well, E.T. That was the closest.
Oh, shoot. And we just watched that the other day. I hadn't seen E.T. since I was maybe 5 or 6. And it's okay. I wouldn't go out of my way for it.
I remember it being super scary, but I have not watched it in probably 15 years. But
yeah, dang.
It was probably scary as a 10-year-old.
Well,
you guessed it. Today we're talking Silos, the Reiner Knizia reboot of what did it revamp?
Municipium. Go ahead and click on Municipium real quick.
Municipium.
This is what it was before. For the listeners, we are gazing upon one of the most obscure-looking covers I've ever seen in a board game. I think the theme is you're in ancient Rome vying for societal power in this Municipium. It's a theme.
It is a theme, that's for sure.
Yeah. The good folks at Bitewing, though, they've been making a name for themselves on taking these older, unpolished gems of Dr. Reiner Knizia, splashing them with a fresh coat of paint, a theme that might be more interesting than what I've never played Municipium, so I'm not going to crap on it too hard. But I will say, at first blush, this cover looks amazing. And the theme is, instead of vying for ancient Rome power in the Municipium, you're aliens landed on Earth. You're trying to blend in with society and collect different groups of humans for experimentation. But mainly you want cows because those are the most intelligent life forms on Earth. So it's got a zany theme, and it's a lot of fun.
Before we jump into all of this, just looking at the box art, I have sat there and stared at this box art for a while now, and I just now realized that at the bottom they have all these, citizens. They've got doctors and lawyers and graduates and all this stuff. But then you have aliens that are kind of sprinkled in amongst those people, and they're like trying their best to behave like humans. Like the graduate, the person with the graduate cap is actually an alien, and I never realized that previously.
Yeah, and another kudos to the Bitewing production team. Your like alien figures that you're putting out on the board, there's one side of them that shows a human, and then the back side of it shows your alien figure that is disguising itself as a human to blend in around town.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's awesome. And not to mention, your leader alien figure gets to wear a cowboy hat. So that's freaking sweet.
Yeah. So tell me about the rules, the setup, the play.
Okay, so the rules of this game, it is a straightforward game, but I don't know if it was the rule book or what have you, but it might have been laid out just in a weird way that it was not clicking really when I was like going through the rules for it.
It's a little convoluted.
Yeah, it talks about power events and things, but really at the end of the day, you're vying for influence in the different locations around town. And on your turn, you can move your alien figures 2 spaces, or one figure 1 space and another figure 1 space. And then you either play a random power card or common card. I don't know what they call them. You play a random card from a shared deck, or you play one of your 3 faction cards. And everybody has the 3 same faction cards, and they're super powerful because you know what they are and you can time it just right to like have these goals. But that's it. That's your turn. Where the meat of the game comes in is the locations have these different actions on them. So there was one location like the newsstand. Broad strokes in the game, I said at the beginning, you're trying to collect different groups of humans. It's a set collection game. So to turn in your humans for some societal power, you have to have a set of every type of human, which is a purple human, green human, orange human, and white human. And those stand for the different kind of professions in human society: government operators, public influencers, politicians, and professionals. So when you get a full set of those 4 types of humans, you can turn them in for a societal power emblem. And the first person to get 5 of those wins the game. So basically all this is just to collect humans.
First the 5 sets.
Yeah, 5 sets of humans. And cows are wild because, again, they are the most coveted species on planet Earth.
They can be government officials.
Yes, absolutely. They run laps around us in terms of brain power. So the one location, the newsstand or news station, it made it so that when that location activated, whoever has, and it's all based on whoever has the most influence there. So if you have the most influence in a location, you have the power to take advantage of that location action. So at the news station, when that power activates, you can turn in 3 of any type of human. They don't have to be different sets, different colors. They can all be the same. You can turn in 3 of whatever you got, and you can get one of these societal power emblems, so that's just like an example of one of the things you can do at these locations. There's ones that let you take humans from here or there, but essentially each location has a space on it for a UFO abduction. So the UFO abduction spot has a cow always, and then a random human from the bag.
For 3 and 4 player.
Yes. I played
2 player.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
2 player is only a cow, and then the 3 and 4 player gets the additional human.
Okay, yeah, I played twice at 3 players, so that's good to know about the 2 player differences. And then there is the focus group section of the location. So this is a spot, it holds up to 3 humans in it, and most locations every location can have orange humans. I think the politicians, they infiltrate everywhere. And then they have another color that goes out there. So, this location might have green and orange, and this one might have purple and orange. But as soon as the 3 spaces in that focus group fill up, you immediately have what they call a mind control event. And this allows, again, whoever has the most influence in that location, when that mind control event goes off, they get to take 2 of the humans, and whoever has the second most, maybe not the way it is in a 2-player game, but in a 3 or 4 player game, whoever has second most gets the leftover human. And then
I think it's 2 and 1 for 2 player.
Okay, so same.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got your abduction site, you got your focus group, and then you have the location action. And those are like kind of the 3 things that you're kind of paying attention to at these different locations. So the different power cards that you might be playing, the easiest one to understand is the UFO abduction, and it's the most common one in the deck. So when you flip over the UFO abduction, the alien spaceship goes 1 space forward on its little UFO track, and then you have an abduction event at that site. So, if you happen to be the person that had the most influence in that site, you get your cow. The other person, if you're playing 3 or 4 players, gets the random person put out there, and then that's that. And so as these cards come out of the common deck, you kind of place them around the board so you can see what's been played, and you can kind of know what might be coming next, because there's only, maybe 15 cards or so in this deck. So it's not that hard to keep track of, and you can kind of time it right. If it's your turn and you can see, all the cards that you might want to have been played already, you might not want to draw from the deck because, it could only stand to benefit someone else.
If we can pause for a second. I found that to be one of the most interesting parts about this game is that deck of those like common actions, the comet decks or whatever it was, there's so few cards in there that it's really easy to keep track of what has come out and what has not. And like playing the timing of that deck becomes a game in itself. Like
Yeah.
you only have your 3 cards to play. You're kind of card counting as they're laid out around the outside of the board to figure out when is the right time to like spring that next action or to take that next step. And I thought that's like a game within a game, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, I I didn't appreciate it as much the first time I played as I did the second time.
Yeah.
And it, all started coming together, and you're like, okay, I got to time this right so that, I have influence over here because I know that alien abduction event's going to happen, and I want to be able to get 2 of these stinking humans instead of 1. Really cool stuff. Another type of event that's in the common deck is I forget what it's called, a marked specimen. So basically you just pass the bag of humans around person to person, and you pull one out at random, and then you can place it in one of the focus groups. And again, when that focus group area fills up, you trigger that mind control event. So it gives you a lot of power when you get a chance to place those humans in focus groups. You want to, find a spot where you might be able to, benefit from that. And then the other type of card basically activates a power for everybody gets to activate a power where they have the most influence. So if you have the most influence in 6 spots, you get to pick one of those spots and activate the location's power. And everybody does that around the table. And then there's one card in the deck, and there's only one of them, that when it's drawn, you go around all 6 locations and activate every location's ability, which can be exciting. You get to really pop off some cool events, but also kind of slows the game down a little bit. But it only happens once, every 20 turns, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, Travis, the timing of it, because you do have those 3 cards. You get 3 cards that what they're going to do. And you can, once you play them, you can't play them again. So finding the right time to play your special cards is also an important consideration of the game, because you have one that lets you pull 4 humans out of the bag and put them out in focus groups. And so as you're doing that, you can really, pulling 4 out, you have a good shot of triggering a mind control event and being able to work that out so that you get 2 humans and somebody else only gets 1.
Yeah.
UFO sighting, that basically lets you pick your time when you want that abduction event to happen. Again, you can set yourself up. So if I know I'm going to use that card, I get my 2 movements before, I can go ahead and converge into a location, play my UFO sighting, move the ship, get my cow, get on with life. And then the last card that is specific to a person is your powers, which lets you exert all the power events in the locations where you have the most influence. So that's kind of what you're doing. You're going around, everybody's moving, playing either a card from the common deck or a card from your 3 that you have, and being the first one to get 5. I only played there in the rule book. It says if you want a shorter game, play to 4.
Yeah.
And I played to 4 both times, and I thought it was appropriate. It was probably like 45 minutes for a 3-player game.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want to go much longer on this. I think you get what you want out of it in that time frame. So maybe I'll try it at the 5 societal power game end, but for now the 4 seemed like a pretty good experience.
Yeah, I think the only thing that you did not hit on is the town hall in the middle of the whole board. And the more people that you put out there in the town hall, the higher priority in turn order you take, correct?
That is true. And also if there's a tie at a location,
that's
the higher priority you have there, the better.
Yeah.
You get to go first. And there's also, definitely ties.
Yeah, but also, well, especially in a 2-player game, there are a lot of ties. So that town hall becomes super important. It's also important because the UFO will never go there. And so like you're always balancing, do I want to compete for that next person, or do I want to like kind of back up my forward troops, so to speak, or like those aliens that are out at these different locations by jockeying for position in the event of a tie. And that's like a constant push and pull on where you want to spend your alien meeples, which are beautiful, by the way. Those alien meeples look so good.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like, man, where do I allocate that next alien? How do I like jockey for position or priority? Yeah, man, such tight decision making in this one. I like it.
Yeah, and then there's also a way at one of the locations I mentioned, your leader gets a cowboy hat, which makes them worth 1.5 influence wherever they are. But there's also a location, maybe it's called the university. It would make sense if it's a university, because when you activate that power, the person with the most influence there gets to put a diploma hat or a graduation cap on their alien meeple. And now that guy's worth 2, which is super helpful. Like you put that person somewhere and they're, doing double duty. So a lot of interesting stuff. And, again, the turns are, for the most part, unless you trigger one of those, hey, everybody do a power or do all the powers, turns are pretty snappy. And I think it more plays is going to like make it even more evident, like when the timing's right to do different things, because, trying to get sets of the 4 different types of humans was also interesting because, some locations are more prone to having the certain colors and just, trying to figure out where to be and when. You can't just hang out with your aliens in one spot the whole game, or you're not going to get the right distribution of human people to turn in for your power.
That's right. Okay, so give me like your general impressions of this one. Like, what do you think? Is it one of Reiner's better games? Like, what were your general impressions after 2 plays?
Yeah, I had 2 plays. First play, like I said, I read the rule book, I watched the videos, and just like something about the way it was laid out just wasn't clicking. It seemed more convoluted than it turned out to be in practice. But once I got into it, I was like, okay, this is pretty slick. It's, random at times. You're drawing cards off the top of the deck. It could work out, it could not, but I like that. And I like the interaction. Like there's never a time where what somebody else was doing wasn't interesting, because they very well could draw the card off the top of the deck that lets everybody activate a power. And, now I get to do something cool and it was your turn. So yeah, it's engaging the whole time. It's cool, like trying to figure out where you want to be, like I said. And I don't know if I would go so far as to say it's one of his best games. I know it's one I'm eager to keep playing.
Yeah.
I saw, the Dice Tower, they kind of were tough on this game, but I don't know. I'm trying to, put myself in the critical mindset here and think, what there's not to like about it. I know, Travis, you said you were fumbling your way through it and had to quit.
Yeah, I mean, life nowadays is a little tough to get 45-minute game sessions in, but yeah, I mean, we played like half a round and then had baby meltdown, so it was just kind of like we got a sense of the rules. I just want to like kind of feel it out a little bit. I really enjoyed the tight decision making. I really enjoyed kind of the card counting aspect of it. Like after a couple turns, it's really, I mean, you flip through the deck once, what's in there. There's not that many cards in that deck. And even for new people, you're not at like that significant of an advantage. As long as like when you're teaching this, you show the people the cards and you say, look at all these cards. These are the ones that are available. This is what they do. And like they know that next thing is coming. I think you can really level the playing field for new players. I don't think there's like all that much of a curve in terms of like experience being better than newbies. But yeah, my hot take right now, especially since Bitewing is doing this big re-implementation of old Reiner games, is that this is like what movie studios are doing. They're going back and they're like remaking all of these great movies that have fond childhood nostalgia. looking at you, Disney. I think movie studios need to take this approach where they take movies that like could have been good and just like maybe have missed the mark, maybe needed like different casting or new, put some new paint on it and make it new and make it fun and make it relevant again. And I love that Bitewing is doing this. I love that they're going back and taking these games that like, you look at what is it? Millennium? Not Millennium.
Municipium.
Municipium. Look at Municipium. And it's like a 6.7 on BGG and might have just been too drab to be noticed. Maybe it wasn't the right time. Maybe I don't even know who published that one, but like they take these old games that might not have gotten the love that they probably deserve and they bring them up and they elevate them and they throw some gorgeous artwork on there. Maybe they Control F replace the rule book. Maybe that's why it's so convoluted and kind of hard to follow. But I believe that Bitewing probably did their due justice and their due diligence on, bringing this thing up to their standards. And I think it's great. I love this game. I'm excited. I have not played the other ones yet. Ego and Orbit being the other two. But man, Silos is right up my alley. I like it.
Yeah, I maybe tamped down my excitement a little bit just because I only did play it twice. But after that second play, I was really high on this game. And nice. I will say it has been my favorite game that Bitewing has done so far.
Oh.
Yeah.
Favorite of any Bitewing.
Favorite of any Bitewing.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I played Orbit once, twice. And then Ego, I've played, Beowulf the Legend.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play Ego and try it out. But this one I really dug. This has been a home run for me in terms of a re-implementation. And yeah, like you said, if you guys do get this stuff, like it is cool in their rule books when they do these re-implementations, they put like a whole page in the back that kind of talks about the thought process they went through when they were looking at this game, from a publisher's perspective and how they could make it better and, the different tweaks they did to it. I think one of them is that part that you and I both alluded to liking is having the cards that have been played stacked around the outside of the board so that you can like easily track what's been played before. So, a lot of cool stuff.
Heck yeah. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot bad to say about it right now. I haven't played it as much as you have. I know that between us, we only have 2.5 plays, but
yes,
it's enough to get a feel for it. And, we trust Bitewing, we trust Reiner. So yeah, this is a good one and one to check out if you are looking for something unique, maybe a unique theme, or maybe you just have a hole in your area control set collection gap.
Heck yeah.
All right. This has been Silos by Bitewing Games, and we have been Operation Game Night. I have been Travis. He has been Clay, and we are out.